G'day, fellow South Africans, and it's been an exciting week in politics, you've got to admit that. I mean, what's happening right now in Australia with the new Prime Minister and Donald Trump's tweet about the South African farm situation. It's like something is actually coming to a crossroads, something's going to happen. What I'm going to share with you now is a video conversation regarding where Australia is going. And I have to tell you that the bad news is that with Dutton no longer in his old portfolio, and with Scott Morrison now the new Prime Minister, it looks like that window of opportunity that I talked about several months ago has passed. For reasons I cannot understand, whites in South Africa are seen by the loony left, read the Labour Party under Bill Shorten, as racist. Okay, so they don't understand that what happened 30, 40, 50 years ago has no relevance to what's happening and what is going on today in South Africa. They've got their bloody heads in the sand, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But this Sunday night at 8 p.m. I've got a far more extensive presentation on this whole subject about coming to Australia, migrating to Australia, and I've got some really good people I'm going to be interviewing in the next few weeks who will, obviously I'll post that up on the channel too, so please subscribe, because that way you'll be kept informed, and I'll see you Sunday night. Okay, now here's that little discussion about post Turnbull and the impact of this on immigration in Australia in the future. Chat soon.
Yeah, and that I think was deliberately targeted at the kinds of people who would have been very worried about the kinds of rhetoric that Peter Dutton and his supporters were pushing out on immigration. So I thought that was quite reassuring, and it was very, very clearly targeted. And Josh Frydenberg as well, you've got to remember, is the son of immigrants. He's a proud son of a Hungarian and a Polish parent. So I think we probably steered those waters, or the Liberal Party's managed to steer us out of those dangerous waters a little bit, with this duo.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think it's very important. They do have to stay strong on border protection, right, because that is one of their great strengths. But in discussion of immigration and immigration numbers and composition and all that, I think you will get a much more considered debate under Scott Morrison and Josh Frydenberg than you probably would have got under Dutton, and I think that is a very good thing. I think hopefully we will be able to steer very clear of very dangerous waters in that area. And obviously immigration is a matter of concern for a lot of people, and we do need to talk about it. But we do need to talk about it in a very civil way and in a very constructive way, and I think that's the hope that Morrison brings.
Jack, I just want to ask you what you think. I mean, we're talking about immigration, we're talking about racial issues right now. What do you think, or can you read the tea leaves of past pronouncements of Scott Morrison? What do you think his becoming leader will mean for Indigenous Australians, in most particularly in seeking, the Makarrata that was, mentioned in the Uluru Statement from the Heart?
Yeah, well, what I got from Morrison's speech just before was this effort to impress a continuity with the Turnbull government, or the Turnbull direction. And if that's the case, then it doesn't look good for progress on those Indigenous issues. You know, are we still going to see 50 million poured into the Cook theme park in his own electorate? Are we still going to see the $3 million statue? Because that is the antithesis of the sort of things that the Makarrata is looking at in terms of truth commissions and whatnot. So, again, I don't think there would be any reason to dismiss the anxieties that Aboriginal Australia has about Morrison. It's just going to be more of the same.
Kerry, what lies ahead now is some immense challenges in terms of, I mean, does Scott Morrison say, well, the wheels of government are still turning? They're not quite. I mean, technically, not exactly. But, you know, in healing the bruising that has gone on, in the inflammatory statements, you know, people that have said, like Matthias Cormann, like, we had to do this for the unity of the team, you'd think there might be better ways to unify a team.
Well, I think that it was like a boil that needed to be lanced because, you know, it was festering. I think the really interesting thing about it was that on Tuesday, when the Prime Minister called on the vote, and Peter Dutton, without any work, managed to get 35. The fact that he could only get 40 today would suggest that there's, you know, yes, there's certainly people within the party who are unhappy, and clearly 40 to 45 is, you know, quite a bit. But I also think that reflects